Hey everyone, did you watch that here? And I've got another video. A quick note before I start, this will be a quick one as there's very little in the way of information and this will mostly be speculation on my part along with some spoiler talk. That being said, I'm still going to try and base it in some logic here and there, so we won't be talking about characters who don't even use a longsword like Grey Worm for instance. So let's get started. The riddle of Valyrian steel has been lost to time, and the blades that remain are some of the most precious artifacts left in the Seven Kingdoms. One of these blades is Heartsbane, the ancestral sword of House Tarly, and now a stolen blade. Since Sam is not that good with a sword, his best choice would be to give it to someone more capable than he is, and with the War for the Dawn coming, who is the best choice for this weapon? Before we get into that, we have to start with some setup of where Sam is and what he'll be doing. We know he is at the Citadel and doing his research, but he's going to have to leave with the sword and give it to someone at some point. So either he leaves by his own choice, or has to flee Old Town, which is the city where the Citadel is located. And we do know that he will be leaving during the season. I believe he will head back north, and that will be the main focus of this video, but we do want to explore some alternatives out of the way because we don't actually know what's going to happen. He may not be leaving Old Town at all, but fleeing, and if that's the case, that only means one of a few things. Either he's being hunted by Tarly men, or that Old Town is no longer safe. Randall Tarly is a smart man, and he won't let such a thing as having Heartsbane stolen stand. It could take him a minute to think that his cowardly son would do it, but it would be foolish to rule Sam out. And speaking of that, Old Town might also be threatened by Ironborn, who could be raiding the city. And there could also be just general thievery. A missing Tarly Valyrian steel sword is extremely valuable, and Sam Tarly studying at the Citadel with a mysterious long item wrapped up is a good place to start to look for that sword, and that legendary sword could turn a nice profit. Now, if the blade ends up back in Randall Tarly's hands, that's pretty straightforward, and also kinda lame, so we'll come back to that at a later point in the video. If Sam gets ambushed on the road, there are a few things that could happen. It could end up in the hands of Euron, or possibly just be gone forever. If it ends up in Euron's hand, similar to Randall Tarly, that's pretty straightforward. The point is that it ends up in the hands of the bad guy, and he either keeps it forever, or gets defeated and it gets returned to our good guys. And for me, I do like the idea of it just being stolen and gone forever. We know Valyrian steel swords are needed, but I like the idea that only a handful of them being left, maybe even only one or two swords, making the fight against the walkers all that more desperate. But let's assume that Sam makes it back north. Who would be the most likely to give the blade to? It seems like the most obvious choice is Jon, so let's start there with him. If Sam makes it back to the north, it would make sense for him to give the sword to Jon. They are in need of Valyrian steel, and really that's the whole reason why Sam took the sword in the first place. Giving it to Jon so that he could use it in the coming War for the Dawn against the White Walkers. Just one problem though. Jon already has a Valyrian steel sword, Longclaw. So he would either need to give it up or give Heartsbane or Longclaw to someone else depending on his decision. Let's say he keeps it and gives away Longclaw. It's another Valyrian steel sword and serves Jon's purpose for killing White Walkers. There's also some potential link to the Azor Ahai legend, in the name at least, Heartsbane. For more information on that, check out my Danny Will Die vid so I don't have to explain it in detail here. For me, I don't see this happening. Jon has used Longclaw for years, and it's seen him through a number of battles. Switching up weapons now, while possible, it's the same type of weapon, just seems like a bad idea. You want to be comfortable with what you're using when your life depends on it. It's also a gift from the Old Bear, Commander Mormont, to Jon, someone he respected, and it has personal meaning to him. And of course, we can't talk about Longclaw being personal without talking about Jorah Mormont. And for me, I believe Jorah Mormont will receive Heartsbane. First, because his grayscale is needing to be cured, and the best place to start to look for one would be with the Maesters of Old Town, who have successfully halted the disease because of characters like Shireen, so we know it's possible, and it would make sense for Jorah to have started his search there. Maybe he would meet Sam, and that would already build the bridge. In addition to that, we know that he's going to reunite with Dany, and as a knight of her Queen's Guard, Jorah will need a weapon befitting his stature, and he's also sworn off his family and all rights as a member of the Queen's Guard, or at least I would assume. So why would he want Longclaw? There might be some conflict there, but it would just be better for him to have Heartsbane. Dany also needs magical defense and magical offense. If she's going to campaign against the White Walkers, she needs some Valyrian steel swords to protect her. It makes a nice gift for a wedding present, or just something for an alliance and a good measure. If Randall Tarley does get Heartsbane back, we know he's going to be quickly defeated by Dany and her dragons, along with the Dothraki, so she may end up just taking the sword. And Dany doesn't use a sword, so she would probably give it to Jorah Mormont. He is the best person in her retinue that's going to be able to do so, especially with Ser Barristan being killed. The only other person who I think would receive the sword and may get it would be Tormund Giantsbane. It's right there in the name, Heartsbane and Giantsbane, if you want the bare minimum of connections. But what better way to insult the wildling-hating Randall Tarley than to give the sword to the de facto leader of the wildlings? If I was Sam and Randall Tarley had insulted Gilly to my face, I would definitely give this sword to Tormund, just for that reason. It makes the most sense also to keep any and all Valyrian steel weapons that they come across in Jon's inner circle, and you want it with a group of those dedicated to fighting the White Walkers. Someone like Brienne, even though she has a Valyrian steel sword, takes orders from Sansa, so she might not be the most reliable if Sansa comes into conflict. Even the same thing with Jorah Mormont, he takes his orders from Daenerys, so he might not be the most dedicated to the White Walkers either. But at any rate, giving it to Tormund, he's the leader of the wildlings, he deserves a weapon fitting his stature, and he's also dedicated to this fight alongside Jon, and this would make at least 2 swords, maybe 3 if Brienne does join them, that could be used against the Night King and the other White Walkers. That's it for me on my picks. What about other characters like the Hound or Davos? Well, the Hound will get his own video soon enough, and leave a comment and join the discussion on any other characters that I probably missed. I did make this a quick video on purpose. I really want to get my videos out faster to reward anyone who's chosen to follow me. Whether you've been here since the beginning, or for a year, or are just joining me, thank you for staying with me. Follow me on Twitter or Twitch, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll have lots more content coming. Take care, everyone.